Southeast Georgia and the Lowcountry. This is WJCL 22 Morning News. See us now.
Breaking right now on WJCL 22 Morning News, at least 3 people are dead after a fiery 15-car crash. A stretch of I-95 in Florida shut down. What we just learned in the last few minutes.
A man is in jail accused of shooting a Georgia police officer during a robbery. The surprising way he ended up behind bars.
And it appeared to me that they were being executed with this rifle.
Emotional testimony in the trial of a former officer charged in connection with Breonna Taylor's death. What he revealed to her family in court.
The fight to flee Ukraine, terrifying new video of explosions in the aftermath of Russian airstrikes. What we know right now ahead of a second meeting between the two countries later today.
It is right now 6 o'clock on this Thursday morning, and we are live out in the Lowcountry this morning. We're at Henry C. Chambers Waterfront Park in Beaufort, where well, it's calm and quiet to start this Thursday morning. We want to thank you so much for waking up with us right here on WJCL 22. Good morning, everyone. I'm Emma Hamilton.
And I'm Frank Sulkowski. Let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Jonathan Myers now. He's the man with the weather plan this AM. And again, the temperatures warming up in the afternoon hours. And I tell you what, yesterday I spent a good bit of time in the yard, planning on an encore performance of it today as well, Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly right, Frank. We saw some beautiful weather yesterday and more of it again today. We're going to see plenty of sunshine all the way through the afternoon. Not as chilly as it was yesterday morning. Yesterday we started out upper 30s and low 40s. This morning, most of us into the upper 40s and near 50. 47 degrees around sunrise, 59 at night, and most of us, look at that, 82 later today. Perfect weather for outdoor activities and just mainly sunny skies all the way through the afternoon. We may see some high clouds, but you notice across coastal Georgia, low country, nice and clear. So out the door for school and work this morning is looking fairly nice. And this warm weather is going to return, but we'll see a little cooler weather for tomorrow. But Saturday and Sunday feeling like springtime, back up into the 80s once again. Our next chance for showers will be on Tuesday. I'll track that out for you and look ahead to the weekend in less than 10 minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Jonathan. Taking a look at the roadways, I-95 at 341 down in Brunswick. Things are moving smoothly there this Thursday morning.
Breaking right now, at least 3 people are dead in all lanes of I-95. 3 separate crashes involving 15 vehicles. Take a look at this video from our sister station, WESH, where you can see the tall flames from that devastating crash. Officials say at least 20 miles of the interstate are closed right now. We'll continue tracking the latest in this breaking news.
Well, new troubling photos coming out of Ukraine this morning. Explosions from Russian airstrikes caught on camera overnight. We are just hours away from the start of a second meeting between Russia and the Ukraine.
This as officials say Russia is ramping up attacks in the country. Take a look at this video of crowds inside a train station in Ukraine's capital. You can see it is packed as people rush to get out of the country. Some people carried their children as they headed towards the train. As of this morning, 1 million refugees have fled Ukraine in just 1 week. The International Criminal Court said it would launch an investigation of Russia's invasion. And the United Nations said at least 136 Ukrainian civilians have died, but warned that the toll could be much higher. We do want to check in with ABC's Em Nguyen, who's reporting officials are calling Russia's war tactics aggressive.
This morning, Russia intensifying its attacks against Ukraine, targeting more civilian areas, with Ukrainian officials reporting more than 2,000 casualties since the start of the invasion.
These aren't military targets. They are places where civilians work and families live. This is shameful.
Russia reportedly taking the city of Kherson, the first large Ukrainian city to fall, while battling for Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. Western intelligence agencies say Russia appears to have 5 major Ukrainian cities surrounded, with a massive Russian convoy waiting about 17 miles north of the capital, Kyiv.
The northern push by the Russians down towards the south, towards Kyiv, remains stalled.
Our Ian Panel in Kyiv was on air when an explosion lit up the sky.
There was a large flash over in the distance. It's an incredibly foggy night. You can only see probably about 50 to 100 yards. Many others are now hunkered in their basements tonight, listening to that sound, and frankly, it's terrifying.
This morning, the value of the Russian ruble plummeting to a record low. Its stock market closed since this weekend. The U.S. pushing ahead with a new wave of restrictions, blocking oil and gas equipment to Russia and sanctioning entities supporting Russia's defense sector. Boeing also suspending maintenance and technical support for Russian airlines. Ukrainian President Zelensky saying he's grateful for the world's support, with a message to the Russian army from his bunker in Kyiv, saying, quote, "We are a nation that broke the enemy's plans in a week." Saying, "Tell your commanders that you don't want to die. Get back to where you've come from." The U.S. House overwhelmingly passed a non-binding resolution to support Ukraine and to express that America would never recognize a Russian leader or government installed through the use of force. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Putin has maintained power by imprisoning his opponents, by assassinating people who disagree with him. The Russian state has collapsed. The Duma is a puppet. The courts have been neutered. And it is now time for him to pay.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham wants the Senate to officially condemn Russian President Vladimir Putin for war crimes. He introduced legislation yesterday that would hold Putin accountable for acts of war and human rights violations. The senator also talked about comments former President Trump made last week when Trump called Putin a genius.
I think that was a mistake. I mean, I think I know what he was trying to say, going into the Donbass. But no, let's just make it clear. Putin's not a genius. He's a war criminal. She's a member of
the Ukrainian government already filed a complaint similar to Senator Graham's resolution.
All new this morning, a man accused of shooting a Georgia police officer is behind bars. According to WSB TV in Atlanta, Arterio Crumbly turned himself in last night, just hours after he was accused of shooting an officer who responded to a robbery call. Clayton County Police say Crumbly was also shot at the robbery victim before he ran away. At last report, the officer is still in the hospital.
And it appeared to me that they were being executed with this rifle.
Closing arguments set to begin today in the trial of a former police officer charged in connection with Breonna Taylor's death. The former Louisville officer, Brett Hankison, took the stand yesterday. Hankison is facing criminal charges, accused of blindly firing 10 shots into Taylor's apartment while serving a no-knock warning back in March of 2020. He got emotional yesterday as he described to jurors what happened after Taylor's boyfriend shot at police.
Excuse me. I knew Sergeant Mattingly was down, and I knew they were trying to get to him. And it appeared to me that they were being executed with this rifle. If my daughter was shot at, or bullets came into our house, that would be very concerning, and I apologize to her for that. And Miss Taylor's family, it was just, she didn't need to die that night.
Neither Hankison nor any of the officers involved were charged with Taylor's death, but 3 of those officers could potentially still face civil rights violations. The Department of Justice also opened a federal investigation of this case. Also new this morning, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act is now headed to the Senate floor.
In a historic move, the bill was passed overnight. Only 3 people voted no, including a Georgia lawmaker. The bill was named in honor of Emmett Till, a black boy from Mississippi who was murdered by white men back in 1955 after they say that he whistled at a white woman. Republican Representative Andrew Clyde of Georgia was just one of 3 people who voted against the bill. If it passes through the Senate, it then heads to President Joe Biden's desk for a signature. Ahead of yesterday's vote, South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn tweeted, "After 120 years and more than 200 attempts, it's time to finally right this deadly wrong."
Well, there's a push to bring big changes to election laws in South Carolina. Yesterday, the state's House approved a bill that would allow anyone to vote outside of Election Day without an excuse. The bill also makes voting fraud a felony instead of a misdemeanor.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is making headlines this morning for telling some college students to take off their masks. That all happened during a visit about cybersecurity in Tampa yesterday. Take a listen.
You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off. Honestly, it's not doing anything, and we got to stop with this COVID theater. So if you want to wear it, fine, but this is ridiculous. All right, well, it's good to be at USF.
Now, some students did remove their masks, but some kept them on. According to the university website, students are not required to wear masks. Just last week, Governor DeSantis released his own policy discouraging mask wearing.